Hi, it's Michael Dermer, and we're here to talk about the concept that doing everything isn't dedication, it's bad leadership. When we think about leadership, a lot of times as an entrepreneur, we think it's a badge of honor to say to ourselves, I have to do everything. I'm really the only one that understands the business. And remember, you might have been the one that came up with the idea. You've lived and breathed it, right, for years. You might have thought about it before you left your job in corporate America. And so when you get into the idea of starting or running your business, right, you really believe that you have to do everything. And in some ways, you just kind of say to yourself, well, that's dedication. That's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. But I'd ask you to look at it a little bit differently. Doing everything is actually not dedication, it's bad leadership, right? Whenever you take on every task of the company, there's a bunch of different things that happen that actually stunt the progress of your organization, even though you're working really, really, really hard, right? First of all, you focus on non-critical things. When you're the leader and you have scarce resources, right, you've got to focus on the most important stuff. You've got to take things off of your plate, right? So things like, let's say you have to raise money for the business. You absolutely have to sit down and make that a focus and say, I can't do these other things, right? And when you as a leader focus on things that are not critical, that is actually bad leadership, okay? So how do you actually do this? When this is your baby and you live it and you breathe it, once you accept, right, that you're going about it the wrong way by thinking you're being dedicated, right? And you say, okay, I've got to get other folks to help me, right? And remember, these other folks can be part-time workers, they could be advisors, they can be friends and family. I'm not saying you only have to do it when you have a big staff, which most of us don't, right? So what do you do to actually help others contribute, right? You can't just throw it to the wolves and say, figure it out, right? Number one, you have to create expectations, right? You want to tell them that you're trying to impart knowledge that you have to them. You have to create process, create regular check-ins for people like advisors and consultants and students that work with you. So you can actually have a way to transmit some of those knowledge to them. Have people work as teams, right? Early on, when you pass on things that you know like the back of your hand, they're going to need each other. They're going to have complementary skills, right? So let them work as a team together to try to figure it out, right? And finally, let them make mistakes. Right? I know we have all said to ourselves 100 times, it's just easier for me to do as opposed to giving to somebody else to do. But that will never have you advance your business, right? Let people try it and let people make mistakes, right? So your job as the leader is to say, how do I get my company to the next level? The way you get to your company to the next level is acknowledging that it's not leadership to do everything, right? It's actually a lack of leadership. So then you say, okay, great. How do I go about doing that? I'm going to create a process. I'm going to create expectations. I'm going to have them work as a team. I'm going to have them make mistakes. And eventually what will happen is you will find that other resources that you have take some of those things off your plate. Okay? This is one of those perspectives that's really natural as an entrepreneur to think that we're being dedicated by doing everything. I would challenge you to say it's actually bad leadership. To learn more about this lesson, you've obviously got this video, but you've got a whole write-up on the different ways to try to take things off your plate so you can lead your company more effectively.